more likely me, I was played with. I would say I'm like Utah Jazz, you know, Karl Malone, remember? And Stockton got a lot of press, so it's like I always played with one of the, that's when people would say, well, your career, you think you've been underrated and stuff. It's like you play in a league, but you still play with the Jazz, or you play with, you know, a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves or something. So that's how I consider it's like, you know, you say another guy, you know, like Jay-Z would be on the, you know, Rick Ross would be Miami Heat, and then, you know, Jay-Z is the Knicks. You know, teams that get press coverage, but you still got players that are good, but they play on it.
I wanted to talk to you about Jay, actually.
Less media teams, huh?
I wanted to talk to you very briefly about two of those, like, media team rappers, right? On New York, on your new song, you mentioned Jay and Kanye West in particular. What are your feelings about those guys? Why shout them out?
Well, I was reading in the magazine, Jay-Z was saying that, well, a lot of people like Keith, but Keith, a lot of people like Keith, but Keith, you know, he had his own opinion of me. But like he was like, Keith don't sell records or something. Like to the mass appeal of people, you know, like Dr. Octagon sold like 200,000 copies without airplay or radio, basically. Right. But that's on an independent standard. So when you sell independently, that's like if you make money independently, 200,000 times what, $5? Yeah. You do the math. But the point is, I don't have to force myself with a lot of radio, you know. I mean, you got guys that got record companies behind them, and they got to throw parties and, you know, press. They got to do a lot of, and they still can't even tour. They don't even have, like, they might do their record release party at a bar, and 30 people show up.
Right.
Still myself, I'm touring, I'm traveling, doing medium theaters, you know, doing venues, doing Coachellas, places like that, without a record out for 2 or 3 years, without a label behind it, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the stronger definition. So I said that, I took it as like, it's a comment that he said that about me. I took it more like, I just said Jay-Z said I was king.
Right.
You know, he didn't say nothing bad. He just said, you know, I took it as he said I was king because, you know, he said people still like Keith.
Yeah.
It's like he was saying that I don't know why people like Keith, but they like him. Yeah. And that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I wanted to, I was reading some interviews of yours.
On the Kanye,
yeah, of course.
I said I was, I'm Kanye West in his prime. Which is good. I didn't diss Kanye. I said, I'm Kanye West in his prime. That means I'm so new that I'm Kanye West in his prime. I mean, I don't know. How would you take that if I said something in his prime? I mean, Jay-Z said he was Rakim in his prime.
Yeah.
So I just said I was Kanye West in his prime. But some people might argue and say, what do you mean trying to say Kanye West was good a long time ago?
Right, or past his prime or something. Yeah.
Nah, I'm Kanye in his prime.
So, you've been a very strong proponent of not sampling in recent years, right? You've even said that producers who sample are not artists, or not real artists.
Yeah. And
I was kind of surprised to read that, given that you're really one of the people responsible for how sampling is used in rap in the first place. You instead with the ultramagnetic stuff, using the grunt and using those James Brown moves and stuff like that. When did you begin to change your mind about sample productions? Did you always have doubts about it?
What do you mean?
Like, your early stuff, you used sampling, right? A lot. You kind of invented how sampling is used in rap.
Right.
And now you're against sampling, right?
No, I'm not against sampling. I just don't want to be involved with sampling because I want to end my career being original, making music that I like and creating stuff from scratch. I don't knock the sample people, you know, like, you know, you have your niche of people. You got your Alchemist, you got Premier, you got Pete Rock, you got you got those guys, and you got you got people on that side, then you got the Timberland, you got Pharrell, you got a lot of the new guys. But Said G is on the side that's premiering them is on, that side is the sample side. And
Yeah.
me, I'm on the new side. And they're on the sample classic side.
So
It's not bad, either or is not bad, but
even back then, even back on like the first Ultramagnetic record, did you
I didn't-
not like sampling? Did you not like the beats on that? Or?
I like the beats on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still sample stuff myself,
Yeah.
but I have stuff that you would never think I might sample.
Mm-hmm.
I might sample a record from India or something.
Right.
I don't have a sample that has to be approved by all the sample guys, more or less. I might sample something off a Australian record. So that don't mean, I think people think that you have to have a certain type of sample to be approved as a sample,
Right.
That's what I was telling Kurt one time. Me and him had a conversation. We was walking through Germany. And he was telling me that, back then a lot of guys had to collect a certain amount of records to be approved to be a sampler. Like if you don't have a certain amount of catalog, like CTI, you're not sampling like Freddie Hubbard, or you're not sampling Ron Carter, or you're not sampling stuff in a way of saying that I'm a sampler.
Yeah.
If you go out the lane, if I want to sample Rihanna tomorrow, they don't want to put me in the club because
Right.
I'm using a record that's so new, but it's still sampled.
Okay.
If I wanted to sample Drake's tonight, but if I rap on it and sound good, it's still a sample. But I think sometimes they have a boundary within the club that, well, it wasn't that vintage enough, it wasn't old enough.
Right. Didn't come out on this label from
Didn't
like
come-
1966
It didn't come out
to
from
73 or whatever.
1966. Like, I'm a sampler,
Yeah.
but I'm a wild sampler. I might sample, Walt Frazier talking,
Yeah.
before the Knicks come on.
I would like to hear that.
But I'm just saying, I don't know what people, but then it's the side that I create new records also,
Yeah.
So
you said one time, I like to see a lot of collaborations that don't make sense. I like uncoordinated collaborations. What have been your favorite uncoordinated collaborations in your career?
Mine,
Yeah, yours.
me and Tom Waits, that was one. Me and Prodigy was kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
It was like and there was another group I did, Regular Fries, those guys, I forgot their name, just right into my tongue, they're real popular, Schwab. I had a couple, but I like to see some different collabos, and instead of all collabos being predictable.
Right.
Excellent.
So I know photography is a big hobby of yours. You even made that song, Professional Photographer, about it.
Well, that's a true hobby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How was your photography style similar to and different from your whole aesthetic when you're making songs and making albums?
Well, I take pictures sometimes as a foreplay. I don't do the most necessary thing like some people got a camera. You got a lot of people got Canon A1s. They got Nikon D80s, Nikon 561, and the lens big as this. Some people take pictures of people on the beach. Some people want to take pictures of the World Trade Place. Some people want to take pictures of the Empire State Building. Some people want to waste film taking pictures of Manhattan. Me, I take pictures of girls.
Yeah.
That's what I do mostly. I don't really care to take a picture of a brownstone or a monument or a location or a bridge. I don't need to take a picture of a boat. I don't take pictures. I take pictures of trucks sometimes too because I was a big truck collector.
Oh, like the toy trucks?
No. My pops used to drive rigs, and
Oh.
You know, it was just all my uncles had rigs too. So I was into, you know, the International, the Peterbilt, the White Freightliner, the Marlin, the White, all these are trucks, the auto car, you know. So I was into trucks a lot. So I took pictures of trucks when I go to truck stops. Because trucks are decorated.
Yeah.
You know, some of them got beds in them. They got nice wheels, you know. I used to ride. Remember that show, Moving On, a long time ago? It used to come on with Sonny and Will. They used to be always traveling in the big tractor trailer. It was a TV show a long time ago. I used to watch that show. But, you know, I was into trucks differently. I'm a truck. As a kid, you know, I used to be like, my truck, that truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was always in the truck.
Nice.
We'll be right back with the rest of our talk with Kool Keith. You're listening to Outside the Lines with Rap Genius. Welcome back to Outside the Lines with Rap Genius. I'm your host, Same Old Sean. We began the second half of our conversation with Kool Keith by asking him about the most unique gifts he's ever received from his fans.
So you mentioned, you know, I read you like your fans to give you really creative gifts. That you have some really amazing fans who have given you really creative gifts over the years. And that's another, you're talking about your fans. You have a different fan base than most rappers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's reflected in the gifts they give you. What's the best and the worst gift you've ever gotten from a fan?
Well, the best gift I got was some girl drew something. It was a picture, but it looked nice. I had a guy give me a swirl. I put on a table thing. It was really nice. I mean, he made these plates out of some type of painting, but they was like decorations. But he did it with paint. It was swirls of different paint and abstract, and that was a good gift. That was like one of the best things you could sit on your table. But the worst gift I got was I got a jar of pickles with pink water in it or something. Like a big giant jar, and it had pink water. And he bought it on the bus, and I was like, do you want me to eat these? But I didn't know what kind of juice it was. It was just pink.
I
Pink
see.
juice with the green pickles floating in there,
Wow.
like you know, you buy a jar of B&G or plastic, but this was a big giant, the big ones, you know. And it was pink. It was pink.
Did you end up eating any of them?
I left on the bus. And then, you know, later on, I think, you know, I just showing some fans, and they was like, wow, that's different. But it was weird. It was a weird thing to me.
Okay. So, getting serious for a second. On Lost in Space, you have this lyric that I really, you say, when I tell the truth. When I'm serious, you think I'm mysterious. Do you feel misunderstood a lot as an artist? Like people aren't getting what you're saying, they only see the wigs and the big word, you know, science words and stuff, and they don't get what you're really
Right. I'm glad you asked that question. I think people are locked in the fantasy world of myself. Like they don't know the real world of me just off camera. They don't know, like, I go to Macy's, I get me a polo shirt, I go buy me sneakers, or I go out and have a drink. You know, I ride the plane. You know, people probably think I sit on the wing of the plane. They're like, how you get in? You know, I wait in line to get my ticket. You know, so I think people have a fantasy side of me where they just locked into that fantasy side where they don't know the real me in general, you know. They don't know, like, I make my oatmeal in the morning. They don't think I go out to some lotion and stuff like that. So I think when records are out, I think people lock into certain records. Like Octagon, people lock into those records, and then they want to live out the lyrics every day, but they don't know, like, one day it's raining and I got an umbrella and it's raining, you know. It's like, it's a day for me to just chill out and relax and make a sandwich.